Hi, my name's Rachael Lafferty and we're here at Tortuga Studios down in St Peters. It's a workshop and collaborative space for creative types. I work here with Esem Construction, which is Ran's company. I'm one of the makers and set builders, and one of my more favourite things to do is to work in metal. So I'm one of the welders here. I guess I've been doing metal work more seriously in the last 5 years. I've been really getting into it and starting to explore a little bit of blacksmithing and things like that as well. So yeah, it's been great. I've always had a love of metal, and I actually think that that probably goes back as far as my grandfather, who was a metal worker and a blacksmith. Coming down and working here at Tortuga Studios and working with Esem Construction as a group and as a collective has been an incredibly learned experience. I think, you know, everyone sort of has come here with maybe their one particular niche or their particular sort of thing that they love to do or that they've been practicing over the years. But once you get into an environment like this, if you see around us, there's woodworking, there's resin casting areas, there's metalworking areas. So whilst I came in with a real passion for metalwork, I've learned a lot of other crafts along the way, and I've learned carpentry skills and a lot of very sort of traditional set building skills, which has been taught by Ran. So I think it's been a really very, very valuable environment, and I think collectively too, that's what's really beautiful about this space, is that everyone is sort of open to sharing and teaching each other, and it's not one of those things where you're sort of in a community where it's like, well, I'm not going to share that with you because then that's going to maybe affect what kind of work I can then get, or, you know, people aren't sort of, what's the word, I guess, aren't closeted to their own kind of skills. People want to explore different ideas, and I also think it's been really great on a sort of scientific level too. We've done a lot of crazy experiments and stuff, and it gives you the space where you can do that too. We can push limits that wouldn't normally be accessible in, say, like a maker's space or some of those more kind of commercial creative spaces, which I think are awesome places. But here we get to kind of go that extra mile. We get to do things that are a little dangerous, but we can do that because we're in an environment that isn't sort of kind of, you know, governed by a sort of crazy OH&S and all these sort of, you know, you're not dealing with the public every day, and so you don't have to, you know, worry about all those kind of concerns. And I think we really rely on the good old-fashioned common sense in this place, as opposed to a giant long list of, you know, do's and don'ts. And I think that gives us a chance to explore a lot more ideas and kind of grow. Everyone's really sort of growing together, which I think is really special. Yeah. Still a strong kind of collective of makers in Sydney. Most of them are kind of based around the inner west, you know, everywhere from sort of Marrickville, Sydenham, St Peters, just places where we have these sort of bigger kind of, you know, industrial spaces. I think Sydney does really benefit from these sort of creative spaces. I think there's a sort of an idea that maybe they don't really know how lucky they are. I think in Sydney, you know, the noose is getting tighter and tighter, and people are struggling to breathe a little, and I think we're a really, you know, sense of fresh air in that regard, yeah. People who make are always going to make. People who are creative are always going to be creative. We are seeing a decline of these sort of spaces, but I wouldn't say that we're gone, and I think that in many ways when people like ourselves who are creatives, it kind of is like a red rag to a bull, and it just makes you want to fight harder, and it just really makes you want to sort of, you know, get your teeth into it.